Hey friends, it's Audrey again, and I have another video to share with you, and this is for the team up between Just Nick and Clique Kits for the month of June. So we got to use some Just Nick cut files that were exclusive with the June Clique Kits kit. So let me show you what I did here in Silhouette Studio. I'm opening the one of the files that comes with the kit. That's called, I think it's just called June Icons, and I'm going to use this kind of starburst pattern. So I'm going to trace it and then take off the high pass filter and get the cut. And what I'm going to do is remove the box around the outside of this shape because I just want the starburst and I don't want the box, because my intention is to use the kind of starburst as a stencil. So I'm going to cut it out of paper and kind of dab some gelatos through it, which you'll see in a little bit. So I've made a rectangle that's the size of my photo, just to kind of gauge the size of the starburst. And ironically, I don't actually end up using the original photo that I printed, but I'll show you that later. So I've copy and pasted the shape, and it's exactly the same size. And I'm taking the second shape and I'm just rotating it a little bit because I wanted to make some more of the triangles there. I wanted to fill in that circle a little bit more. So now you can see that it's a fuller circle shape with a lot more of the kind of bursts there. And then I'm just going to group those two together so that they stay in the right place. And that's going to be how I cut this out of the pattern paper. So I'm going to move that off to the side, and I wanted to use a few of the other icons in the file. So I'm going to trace the little leaf shape there down at the bottom, and I'm going to cut a few of those out as well. And I just resize those, so I always make like a couple larger ones, a couple smaller ones, and a couple kind of medium-sized ones. And I'm putting them all on the same page here in Silhouette because I like to put all of my shapes on one mat or on one page and then use one and put my mat through the machine one time. So I cut my pattern papers the size of that I need, and I put them all on the mat at the same time. And then I just trace the butterflies as well, and I'm going to cut a couple of those out too. And I'm not really sure what color, so I actually cut out a few from a couple different colors. So there is the circle starburst that I cut, and there's the photo that I originally want to use. And I am going to just dab some gelatos on my craft mat, and I have a sponge dauber, and I'm going to just sponge some of the gelatos through the stencil that I made. And I'm using kind of it looks kind of yellow here, but it's more of a citron green, and then I'm adding in some darker green and just blending those around. And I absolutely love citron green. It's one of my favorite shades of green. Green is my favorite color, so I love all things green, but the citron is definitely one of my favorites. And you saw my photo there. It's a photo of my father and my daughter just kind of going for we were out for a little hike, and they just were chatting, and I just, talking about life, and I just snapped that picture, and I just love it. But anyway, I chose the green because I wanted to pick up on the green in the leaves in the photo. But as you will see, I actually end up changing the photo. So there's the photo. The greens actually match perfectly, but I had a hard time for some reason with the colors in the photo and with the starburst. So I started playing around, and I play around for quite a while with this layout, and actually a lot off camera. And you'll see here in a minute that I come back a couple days later. So now you can see different stuff on my desk, and I think I painted my fingernails, and my photo is different. I decided to print it in black and white because I was just, like I said, having a hard time with the colors for some reason. I mean, I love the colors, but the green was just too much. Anyway, I'm much happier with the black and white photos. I think black and white photos are so much easier to scrap because you don't have to worry about matching colors, and you can just play with the colors on your page. So I think it's a lot easier. So I have put kind of that the green leaf paper behind it, and I took a little smidge of that blue corrugated cardboard paper, which is really pretty, but it was very bright, and I only wanted a tiny bit of it. And then I put some black and white stripes behind it to kind of make it stand out a little bit. And then you can see the green leaves that I cut out from the cut file and the pink butterfly. And I loved those vellum tags, and I had that white space down at the bottom of my photo, and it was a perfect place for the tag because you can still see the photo through it a little bit, but you still get the pretty vellum and gold on top. So yeah, so I'm just playing around with some layers behind the photo. And I pretty much stick to these cool colors, the greens and blues, with some grays and blacks and white, black and white. There were so I don't know why this kit is really colorful. There are a lot of different colors in this kit, but for some reason I just wanted to stick with this palette because when I looked at the kit as a whole, these softer colors really just stood out to me. And I don't really scrap with these soft colors that much. I like to use really bright colors. So maybe that's why I went and leaned towards adding some citron in. It's fun to take a kit and add in another color by using paints or gelatos or mists or cardstock, and it can really change the whole look of a kit. So I have punched a few circles from a couple of the 6x6 papers, and I kind of took that aqua paper that has some very similar shades to the blue corrugated paper there, and I cut those blue circles right on so that there's two tones on each circle, and I liked how that looked. And I'm cutting a few other circles out of just some text print because I wanted to add more on the page, but like I said, I didn't want to add a lot more color because I wanted to stick with this. So I'm just arranging my circles to try to get a good flow from the top to the bottom. And now I'm going to bring in a pop of color. And this is just going to be the only color that adds the little pop. And when I do that, like if I'm working with like a certain set of colors, I try to pick a color that is like completely opposite the other ones to really make it pop off the page. So I was working with mostly cool colors, so I went with a bright pink that really makes it stand out. And I had two butterflies that were pink, so I really had to add a third element that was pink as well to kind of make it flow a little bit better and make more of a visual triangle. I tried it and looked at it with just the two butterflies, and it just didn't feel complete. And I always have to do that. I know a lot of people say that you don't have to always have odd numbers, or you don't have to always create a visual triangle. You know, there are other ways to get it, but for me, I always, even if I'm not like intentionally doing it, I always have to create some type of, I end up creating some type of visual triangle. I added another little piece of cardboard underneath my photo there on the right because the cardboard on the left was making it pop off the page, and so it was a little uneven. So I just took the strip I ripped off and added it to the photo underneath to make it stand off the page a little bit more. So I'm just going through and gluing in some of the bits actually. I punched out another circle, another one of the blue circles, and I kind of using the exact same colors, and I popped it off the page just to add a little bit more interest. And you can see I'm still fiddling with trying to find a pink element to create my visual triangle and where I can put it. I had some washi tape that I had just bought, which was that little pile of stuff over on the left of my camera that kind of appeared halfway through was some stuff I bought at Hobby Lobby, and I just sat down at my desk and I forgot to clear it off before I started fiddling around with everything. And you can see I have a little treat up there in the corner, my bag of Reese's Pieces. when we went to Hobby Lobby, my son was with me, and he was begging me in the line, Mommy, can I get this candy? Can I get this candy? And I said, no, no, no. And then I look over and I see the bag of Reese's Pieces. So when he turned around, I grabbed it really quick and had the girl check it out and put it in the bag. And I didn't tell him I bought it. And then I brought it down and ate the whole bag myself. I know I'm a terrible mother. They get plenty of treats. They don't need any more. Okay, well, me too. So I'm just going through, I added this one phrase, I can't remember what it says, something about being my favorite, and I added it because my daughter calls my dad her favorite friend, and so instead of, she always calls him her favorite friend forever, so her FFF, and I just love to hear her say that, but anyway, it says something about being your favorite, and that's why I added that in. So I'm adding the date here, which I always try to put the dates on my photos, so that when people go back and look at them, they know when it was. And this is the finished page. Kind of simple, but really pretty. I really love the colors in this, and lots of little details. I love how that starburst came out in the background. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great one.